Welcome to the Going North podcast, where we will deliver you tips and techniques to advance yourself in anything you decide to do in life. I'm your host, Dom Brightman, and every Thursday I will be delivering inspirational and informational content with interviews from various authors, especially self-published ones. Be sure to check out my book on Amazon.com called Going North. And now we'll be getting into our interview. And on this week of the Going North podcast, we have an author, but not only an author, he's also a doctor. He is the senior coordinator in the radiology department at the Johns Hopkins Hospital in Baltimore, and he has a fervor to excel and push his abilities, and has led him to earn an impressive number of awards, including the Edward Halley Award, the Martin Luther King Award, as well as the Radiology Customer Service Award. And he's also won Employee of the Year. And this is all because he has a passion and dedication to further his education and help others through his teachings. Dr. Holmes has earned a bachelor's and master's degree in biblical studies and theology, along with a master's degree and a doctorate degree in Christian education. And this guy right here has written and published the wonderful short tome for your dome known as The Power of the Seed. And this author is Dr. Eric Holmes. How are you, sir?
I'm good, bro. All is good and all is well. To God be the glory. Great is the Lord, and I'm doing absolutely wonderful.
Beautiful, beautiful. So beyond the biography, could you tell us a bit about yourself and fill in some of the cavities I may have missed?
I'm a native of Harrisburg, Pennsylvania. Graduated, went to school there, went to college there, moved to Baltimore 25 years ago. I'm a 20-year employee of Johns Hopkins, 24-year member of the Bethel Temple Church of Christ, located here, 3910 West Rogers Avenue, with an awesome pastor and First Lady Bishop and Lady Richard Pender. Love God, love to travel, love school, and, just love just enjoying life and being a blessing to other people.
Great, great, great indeed. And you are a blessing to other people indeed with this wonderful book, The Power of the Seed, right here. I met Dr. Holmes at the book fair at the Morgan State University Festival, and we went and did a book swap, and I gotta say, I was pleased with some of the great stuff that was in this book. So what led you to just writing this book? What inspired you to just let the world know there is power in the seed you plant?
It was one Saturday morning. I came downstairs to pray. I pray at 1 a.m., I pray at 5 a.m., and I came downstairs to pray one Saturday morning, and after praying, I was asking God just to give me a project, give me some things to be a blessing to ministry, be a blessing to my leader. So after praying, I went in the kitchen, opened the door to my deck, and the Lord was like, from a seed to a tree. Said, put it in the book, The Power of the Seed. So right then and there, I'm drawing the tree and all of this and sending it to a buddy of mine who's a graphic designer, saying, this is what I want, and, that was what he inspired and what he had given me the vision to do, is to write, to put it in a book. And so that Monday I went to work and I started typing.
That is awesome. That is awesome. So you pray at 1 a.m. and 5 a.m. every day?
Every day.
Wow, is that during work, I guess, overnight?
Yeah, I've been doing it for years.
Man, so you get like no sleep, don't you?
I know, it's amazing because a lot of people would always say that. Even my old boss was like, well, when do you sleep? Because one morning I left her like a message at, 4 in the morning. And, at that time, before I moved departments, I had to be at work. I was at work at 5:45 in the morning. But, and not only that, I remember doing that, being in school full-time, working full-time, but then also working 2 full-time jobs, and in school full-time and in ministry. So, but hey, that's what he gave me. I do it.
Oh man, that's great too, because there's some people, they pray usually before they go to bed or when they first wake up. Some do it both times, but first time ever heard of someone actually praying actually at 1 a.m. and 5 a.m. in the morning. I mean, that's great because that shows you're really dedicated to your faith and you actually live out what you preach, and that is phenomenal.
Thank you. Yes.
So you wrote this great tome as in a way as a mission and a gift from God, in a way with the vision and everything, and to also mention I wanted to help the good folks at your church as well. So how's it benefited you this far?
It's been a great blessing. The book is doing really good. I've been sharing it, doing book signings, teaching on the book at, seminars, vending at different events, doing a lot of different radio interviews and just sharing the book with a lot of people because it is such a powerful book. And the thing about it is it deals with, the natural, the spiritual, but it deals with people of faith. It deals with believers, non-believers. It's to reach everybody, even all different nationalities. And, so it reaches all of the people that read the book and even those that I share the book with that don't have the book, to allow them to know how powerful it is. Because like I said, from the natural to the spiritual, when you're dealing and the natural of it, as with the farmer, as I allude to it, is that it's a way of living, it's a way of produce. But when we're seeding, when we're planting, it's not just in, the return and finances and money, but, investing in the lives of others, investing in visions and dreams, but it's going to produce something because you've seeded and you've sown and you planted to it.
Yeah, it's true, because when it comes to just planting seeds, it's not just trying to plant a fruit tree or sowing financial seeds. It can just be that kind word to somebody or just offering someone some help. I mean, it's really amazing like what one small thing can end up growing and blossoming into.
Yes.
So as you're writing this book, what trials did you have to overcome to get it published?
One, I really was blessed with the publishing company, Purposely Creative Publishing, and just being determined and sticking and not being distracted. Because a lot of times, even with writing and anything, you have to be focused, you have to be determined, no matter what comes up. And believe it or not, me being at work, I wrote in between patients. So I was doing this in between patients, or, I would get into work a little earlier. So I would do it when I opened up the clinic. So I was doing this in between the patients, in between getting to work, and the thing about it is like when I got home, so I just kept writing, but I had to stay focused because a lot of times we get distracted. So much is going on. And then we get off focus. But when you have a vision, when you have a passion, you've got to stick to it no matter what comes. You got to stay the course. You got to stay determined. So many different things will come up, or we'll, feel like we're tired, or we'll feel like we're busy, And at that time, I was working 2 full-time jobs.
Yeah, and I can imagine you having to fight to stay focused.
Yeah, and I was in school, and I was finishing my doctorate. So, in the midst of all of that, I had to stay focused. I had papers due, you know what I mean? I had class, so I had to stay focused. Even when they said, well, it would be released this date and, you can't even, get off track, even though it was a little bit further, but then it was released in June. So, once you see the light at the end of the tunnel, once you get that final, approval, it's all good.
Yeah, it's a beautiful thing. When you get to that light at the end of the tunnel, it's like you got that vision, you in a way write your plan, or you just plan some actions to take it, and then you finally just see just your purpose manifest into reality. It just now becomes like a mental thing, it becomes a physical thing.
Yes, because all the work that you've put in now, you're seeing the manifestation. And then when they send you that, okay, it'll be released on, like mine was June 24th. It'll be released June 27th when it'll be released. But when you get that first copy, it's like, wow, now this is a reality. Or when you get that email, here's, to start the pre-sale, that's an exciting thing, because all that you put in, no matter what the obstacles, no matter what happened in the in-between, no matter what was going on as you was determined to finish what was given, what was birthed, the vision, the dream. However, you stayed the course, you endured the race, and now here it is, you've crossed the finish line of finishing the product. And the thing about it is that now you see it. And when I saw the picture that they sent me of the cover of the book, I was like, wow. And then you stop, and then you get, teary-eyed, and you're like, wow, this is really happening. So all the hard work that you put in, all of the process, all of the preparation, it's worth it in the end.
Yes, it is indeed. I mean, and I fully understand where you're coming from, because when I published my book and I got the first ever author's copy in the mail, I just stared in amazement at the cover. I was like, this. It's like, wow, it's actually me. It's a book, and my name's on the cover. It's like, oh my goodness. It's like, what a blessing indeed. Yep,
and it's worth it all. It's worth it all when you see the finished product. It is worth it all.
That's right. It's worth it all indeed. So let's see, 2 full-time jobs and working on your doctorates. So there's only 160 hours in a week. You probably was working 200 hours in the whole week. So what advice would you give to folks who are struggling to get their books out and their works out? What strategies would you give to folks who are trying to stay focused and to get to that finished product stage?
One, it always, prayer is key. Then you got to be focused and determined. And no matter what you have to do like the farmer, as I use one of the illustrations, when he's toiling, when he's planting, when he's preparing the ground, and when he's planting the seed, he's looking at the finished product. So he's here, but yet he's looking there. So you look at to what it is going to become rather than where you are. So the thing about it is you've got to stay focused and determined, and with determination, knowing it's not how you start, but how you finish. It's not how fast you run, but how you endure. So you got to endure the process. You got to finish the course, or as if you were in a race. It's not how fast, but long as you endure, long as you finish, like the turtle and the hare. It wasn't that he was fast, but he kept moving, and that's what you have to do. You've got to keep moving until you get to the finish line.
So basically, just keep going.
You got to keep moving no matter what. You can't. And a lot of times people get frustrated, or things come up in life situations, circumstances. But when you're trying to obtain a goal, when you're trying to finish your vision, or if something's been birthed in you, you've got to be determined. You got to be focused. And no matter trying to get off, the race is not given to the swift or the battle to the strong, but he who endures to the end. So we look at it like this. We're in a race. We're trying to get to the finish line. And the thing about it is that you endure. And so the mere fact, all in your mind, you've got to see the finish line. You got to see the finished product. No matter where you are, you've got to be determined. You've got to know that I've got to endure to get to where I need to go. You got to understand and know that I've got to finish in order to get the prize. So once I've crossed the finish line, now I can receive the prize.
So when you receive the prize and you look back over all your good stuff, what advice would you give to someone once they've basically finished their product, when they go out and sell their product? What advice would you give to them?
One, always be grateful and thankful, and even get a mentor. Get somebody else that have, or that can mentor or can help, and then you in turn help somebody else, somebody that might be writing, somebody else that might be struggling, and give them some pointers, give them some tips that how you had to endure, how you had to make it through. And then you got to build your brand. You got to build solid relationships, as one of the ladies, Miss Cheryl Williamson, always the wonderful advice she gave me: build relationships, solid relationships, build your brand, network your brand. You've got to believe in it when no one else does. And then you got to market it. use the strategies and use wisdom and, just be ever mindful. And then keep going, keep pushing. But along the way, help somebody else.
Yeah, and that's one of the main things I love about your book when you always talk about helping people. Let's see, page 41, something underlined is that we can always help somebody or somebody can always help us.
Yes. And that is about life, because when you help somebody else, somebody will in turn help you. And the thing about it is, and that's when you also deal with, even with seeding and planting, is God's rule of reciprocity. It comes back. It comes back because I've sown, I've planted. Just like with the harvest, it all starts with the seed. But if I plant nothing, I can receive nothing. I can't look for a harvest if I've not planted, if I've not sown to reap a harvest. I can't make withdrawals if I've never put anything in.
It's true. So when you talk about putting stuff in and you kind of get into the nurturing step of the seed, like what advice would you give to folks who are just looking to nurture the seed besides just helping people? Like what if folks want to take it to the next level?
One, even in nurturing the seed, even with sowing and planting, the whole key is, though, it's always to be a help to someone else, even though in the process you're helping yourself. But the greatest thing is when you can help others. Even when you have a need and you can help somebody else that is in need, it's a greater blessing, because now I've put my needs aside to be a help to bless somebody else that may have a need. But then when we do that, God will always meet the need.
That is true indeed. That's where your faith is truly tested. It's like you got this vision, you found your purpose, and then you just keep moving. And then when you move with that faith, and you start seeing signs of, like, hey, this is actually working.
And it does come back. And like I always say, and even as I said in the book, favor is better than money in the bank, because, see, favor will take you where money can't. And the thing about favor, when God's favor, he will allow things or connect you with people and cause things to happen that money can't do. And the thing about it is that when you're willing to invest and willing to help somebody else, and when you're seeding, when you're planting, even though when the return may not seem that it's coming back as you thought, but you keep seeding, you keep planting, you keep nurturing, you keep harvesting, and guess what? It's got to be a return.
Yep, it's got to be a return, definitely. So speaking of connecting, is there any books that you recommend to people in addition to yours that just help them to just go out there and do what they want to do? I know that the Bible's a great book as well that may have inspired you to do some great things and even become a minister. But what books would you recommend to people to just go out there and read in addition to your book as well?
One of the books, I know was Purposely Created Publishing, because not because it's just the publishing company who purchased mine, but on their website they have so many different areas of different books. So you may like novels, or somebody may like fiction, somebody may like spirituality, but you got to find something that fits you. Or even as one of the books that Miss Cheryl Williamson sent me is called Affirmed, which is a really good book that helps me, and it goes through like 365 days. Or it's another book she wrote called A Book of Prayers and Reflection, which will help you even spirituality. But you got to look and find things that fit you, or, that will help you. So you can go on, on different, the website, or like Amazon, Barnes & Noble, and look up things, or even where you're trying to go, or it may be the book you're trying to write. Look up those authors that may pertain to what you're trying to write, and research, or look to see which one can help you and where you are.
Definitely good sage advice indeed. So, in speaking of advice, if you were 25 in 2017, what advice would you give to yourself?
You said 25?
Yes, sir.
Wow. One, education. Learn all you can. Save. Strive to be all you can. Get all the knowledge and the wisdom that you can, and then apply it. Use good judgment. Use good sound decision. Be careful in your decision making, because the decision you make today can affect your tomorrow. And if you make whether good or bad decision, because there's always a consequence whether the decision is good or bad. Be careful of the decision. Make sure you stop, before you just go out and just say, I'm going to make, X, Y, Z. No, be careful. Take your time. Don't just make rational decisions, and then it'll affect you later on.
I love it. I love it. Decision making is definitely key, especially in your youth, because that may affect you down the line as the gray hair comes in.
Yeah. If we got to make wise decisions, when we were younger, and now and then we look back. I was just saying, wow, if I would have did this some years ago with, saying up in the 403K, 403B, the 401K, so many decisions now we look at, but it's still never too late. We've just, we would have did it different.
Definitely, indeed. It's like looking in the mirror. You get a view of yourself now, and then it's like, oh man, like what? Like wow, it's like wow, look how far.
Yeah, because I'll be like, if I would have saved all the money that I spent, I could be retired. We've lived, we learned, and that is the whole thing of it. What have I learned in the process? What have I gained from this? What experience have I learned? What experience have I gained from this? What have I learned in the process of all of this?
That's right, because you always got to just look back. It's like, what have I gained, and how can this in turn help someone else?
Yes, because every experience is still a learning experience.
Yep, no matter how painful, it's always a learning experience.
Yeah.
So, where can we buy your book and keep up with you on your social media handles and all that good stuff?
The book, The Power of the Seed, it's on BarnesandNoble.com. It's on Amazon.com. You can always, I'm on Twitter, I'm on Instagram, I'm on Facebook, or you can always send me an email, ELYNNK1306@gmail.com. And you can always call me 443-682-5074. I will be glad to meet you, give you a book. If you're away, I can send you a book. I got PayPal. So no matter what, because the book is such a powerful book, I want everybody to be blessed as they read The Power of the Seed. So I can be reached on all the social media sites, and of course they can go to the, Amazon.com, BarnesandNoble.com, and purchase the book there.
Well, all right, that sounds wonderful. Go out there and buy 5 books. Heck, even buy 10 and give them out to your friends, especially since we're in the fall season right now. Got holidays coming up, Christmas and all that good stuff. Buy one for your lady, buy one for your old brother, sister, cousin's cousin.
Yeah, and that's a good thing to be able, and see, that is the other thing. Sow into somebody else's life, because the whole thing about it is someone in turn will do the same for you. But even as the word said, it's more blessed to give than to receive. But even when we give, he says he'll give that good measure, pressed down, shaken together, and running over. So the thing is, it's a win-win. Bless somebody else. And then the thing about it is, bless somebody that you know can't bless you back.
Very important.
Yeah, do that to when you know this person really can't, say whatever, give me something back. And you can't look for nothing back, because when you do it from a pure heart, when you do it with the right motive and with the right heart, God will always bless you.
Thanks a bunch for your tuning ears on the Going North podcast. I hope you enjoyed that episode. Be sure to, once again, check out my book, Going North, on Amazon.com and CreateSpace.com. And if you'd like, feel free to follow me on social media at Twitter, Facebook, and Instagram all at Dom Brightman, YouTube at Dom Brightman, and if you want to connect on LinkedIn as well, I am there at Dom Brightman as well. Go out there and make the rest of your week the best.